Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Live Live, a place where we meet up to receive motivational, inspirational, and activational strategies for those challenging and changing life moments. I am your host, Keeler Bryson. Hey guys, welcome. I'm glad you're here tonight. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. As usual, we're here again to get some motivation for the start of our week, and I think I have something that will get you going and get you thinking about your life once again this week. So let's just jump right into it. Tonight, I want to talk to you about the subject, what are you waiting for? You know, these last couple of weeks, my topics have been in the form of a question. And I find that a lot of times if we don't ask the right questions, we won't get the answers to what it is that's preventing us from accomplishing those things in life that we desire to accomplish, or if we never ask the question, we will find ourselves always in the same place, not making that progress that we really, really desire to make. And so questions are always geared toward making us think, you know, to put on our critical thinking cap. And sometimes we think about many things in this life, but when it comes to our own self, our own progress, our own success, sometimes we don't ask the right questions when it comes to trying to figure out how do we move forward, what's hindering me. There's so much inside of me that I want to do, but I don't know what I need to do. I don't know the first step or the second step that I need to take. So tonight, again, I'm asking a question, what are you waiting for? Most of us have some sort of dream or goal that we are longing to fulfill, and it may be something that we've been holding on since we were a child. You know, when you're a child, you you sit around with your friends and you think of, you share with your friend, well, I want to be this when I grow up. And then your friend will say, well, no, I want to be this when I grow up. And then what happened to us from that point of being a child and then to the point of becoming an adult? Those dreams that we had as children, to some they may seem foolish, but some of those dreams were actually good dreams, and some people actually fulfilled them, even though they sounded, strange or far out there, or the dream may have even sounded like that person wasn't capable of fulfilling it. But at the end of the day, I believe most of us have some sort of dream or goal or desire that we long to fulfill, whether we may not publicly acknowledge it, but secretly we know that there's something in us that we desire to do. And this dream, it's when you have a dream in your heart and in your mind, it's always on your mind. It just frequents your mind and your thought space. When you think about that dream, you come alive. And in our minds, we can actually see ourselves doing our dream successfully. We see ourselves helping people or entertaining people if it's a dream of being in the entertainment industry, or we can envision ourselves traveling or living in a luxury life, or having a healthy family with children, or we see ourselves being able to donate to those in need. Whatever it is, don't let your dream die. Don't let it die. There is a way to make it happen, but we've got to ask ourselves the question. Not only ask the question, but we've got to answer the question. What are you waiting for? A lot of times our dreams die. There's a quote that I read once. It says, most dreams die between what to do and how to do it. And a lot of times it's just that simple thing. We don't know what to do, and we don't know how to do it. And as a result, we just give up on our dreams, and we won't take action. But tonight I want to challenge you to think about what it is that you're waiting for. What are you waiting for to become an entrepreneur, or to own a nonprofit organization? What is something, when we really begin to sit down and think on this question, is something that's causing us to wait, to sit there and pause, okay? Have another question for you. What is it that you dream about doing or being? What is that thing that you know you were sent to this planet to do? Now, some of you young people, if there are any young people on the line, I know most young people can come up with some things real quick, but if there are any older folks on the phone, sometimes we a little bit slower about acknowledging what it is we believe we were born to do or we dream of doing, because sometimes we think because of our age that it's too late for us. But in actuality, it's not. I saw something on Facebook, or no, I saw it on Instagram over the weekend. This guy was posting pictures of his 71-year-old mother who had just received her PhD. And I tell you, I was impressed. I was inspired to see this lady, 71 years old, had a dream evidently to earn her doctorate degree. And she did it at 71. So you cannot tell me that it's too late, that age has a factor on whether or not you can achieve your dream. It's never too late to achieve your dream or desire. As long as you have life and as long as you have a determination, you can fulfill your dream. You just got to figure out what are you waiting for. Now, when you think about that 71-year-old lady, now I'm sure there were some things that got in her way that caused her to sit there and wait for a minute. But at some point, she made up her mind, what am I sitting here waiting for? You know, I've got to get up and do it. There's nothing really stopping me. I've got time. I've got, the mind and the desire. And then once you have a made-up mind, you can accomplish whatever it is you desire to do. You're never too old to do it. Okay, what is it that you dream of doing or being? Is it a professional athlete? Do you dream of being an entrepreneur? Do you dream of being a music artist, a fashion designer, owning your own nonprofit? Or do you dream of writing your own book? Do you dream of traveling to exotic places or owning a profitable commercial property? What is it? Write it down, what it is that you desire to be or you dream of doing. All right, now that we've established that, what it is that we desire to do, next I want to ask you, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting on? You know what you want to do. You've just written it down, or when I was talking about it, when I asked the question, different ideas was coming to your mind. So my next question is, what are you waiting for? Let's define waiting. Waiting means to stay where you are. If you're not doing anything towards fulfilling your dream or your goal, then you're waiting. You're not moving forward, backwards, to the left or the right. You're just staying in one place. The next definition of wait means to delay action until a particular time. Now, I know sometimes folks will say, well, I need to wait until I turn 25, or I need to wait until I'm a little bit more mature. I need to wait until I'm 30. Okay, if you wait until you're 25 and 30, then if you're not careful, there'll be another reason waiting on you at that age to delay you. You may start saying, well, I'm too old. I've gained too much weight now. I've waited too long. Another definition of wait means, you're waiting until something else happens. Well, I'm going to wait until I get married. Well, I'm going to wait until I finish my college degree. These are all definitions of waiting, and there are also reasons why people wait, because they're waiting on a particular time or they're waiting on something in particular to happen. Some reasons that we're waiting on fulfilling our goal or our dream are legitimate reasons, and then some of the reasons we give are just plain out excuses. And a legitimate reason it's a valid reason, for waiting, and I understand that. But we have to be careful to not get caught up in the trap of having a valid reason that we end up getting comfortable in, and then the next thing you know, we're just standing in the same place. So even though your reason for waiting may be legitimate, you need to really, really put some deadline around that to prevent yourself from getting comfortable with that legitimate reason. Now, an excuse, on the other hand, an excuse is not a valid reason. It's basically an explanation to justify a fault or an offense of why you're not moving forward with fulfilling your dream or your goal. And excuses, we all know them when we hear them, don't we? And sometimes you can talk to folks, and every time you see them and you get on the subject, so what are you doing about Where are you with starting a nonprofit? Okay, now they've been talking to you for years now about the nonprofit. And then every time you come to them and you're basically trying to hold them accountable to kind of see where they are or to let them know that, hey, don't let that dream die. And they come up with all these excuses. And sometimes you're thinking, don't you remember that was an excuse you gave me the last time we talked about this. And so we know excuses when we hear them. And even the person that's giving the excuse, they know that it's a weak excuse as well. But to keep themselves from feeling bad and to keep themselves from looking like, okay, you haven't been working on your project or your dream, they come up with an excuse that they feel will justify why they haven't progressed. But how many of you know it's time out for excuses and it's time to execute? Let's put away the excuses. Okay, we know that sometimes things beyond our control will cause us to have to wait, but at some point, situations change. The trouble or whatever it is that's stalling you, it's going to eventually pass. And so at that point, that's when you need to begin to move forward. Do not get caught up in the zone of excuses. Let's move from waiting to moving. Let's move. We've got to do something, because if you don't, you're going to always be where you've always been if you don't decide to stop waiting. All right. The other day, I was listening to someone, and I heard the person say that they want to do music. And I was thinking to myself, okay, well, that's cool. You know, most people love music, and music is a good way of expressing your artistic side. Music can make you feel happy. Music can make you feel excited and just put you in a good mood. And so I began to ask the person, so what are you going to do about it? And the person looked at me like, I don't know. And I began to throw out some ideas of what that person could do to begin to get themselves in a pathway of fulfilling the desire of doing music. You know, it's so easy to say what we want to do or to dream up a dream. And then we think that we've done so much just by stating what it is we do, dream or desire of accomplishing. But when you get to the part of, okay, let's turn this into a reality, that's where people get stuck. And they thinking, well, I don't have the money to go into a recording studio, or I'm not skilled at writing music, or I haven't been professionally trained in voice lessons. Okay, yeah. You can come up with all those excuses, and some of them may be valid, but what do you have that you can use to get you started? In the meantime, you can be researching voice lessons, or you could be seeking out people that will tutor you in voice lessons pro bono, or you could begin to search on the internet and just look at different people's style, or you could create your page on YouTube and just begin to record yourself doing covers and then upload that video to YouTube and just set yourself out there, and that'll help you to get experience in singing. It will also allow you to receive feedback from folks, whether or not they like it or not, or they can give you some critiques or some tips. And then it's also a way of you building up a body of work to show that you're serious about what you're doing. A lot of times people they'll come up with the idea, but then you've got to come up with a body of work to support or to show that you're serious about it. Because once you begin to do that one little simple thing, then you'll begin to get other ideas on how you can expand, and then you can turn that into something else. And then next thing you know, you have another idea of how you can grow that and turn this into something else. And before you know it, you will look back and you have a whole body of work, a whole slew of covers that you've done. And you can decide, okay, I'm going to do R&B, I'm going to do country, I'm going to do hip-hop, whatever it is. Just figure out creative ways to get yourself out there to show that you're serious, because if you have a dream and you don't have a body of work to support it, then people are going to think that you're not serious, because a person that's serious about, let's say, going into the music business or making music, there should be some sort of evidence of you heading toward that direction. Another thing you could be doing to help yourself, you can go out and meet and hook up and network with folks that are doing what you're doing. There are a lot of young people I see on YouTube and on Facebook, for example, that are into music and making music. Connect with those folks. See what they're doing. Ask them questions about how they got their ideas and what's their next big gig, and follow them, and you'll begin to get ideas and connections and make grow your network, because your network is your net worth. The more people you know, the stronger you become, because you have connections. Next thing you can do is attend events. If you're into music, for example, then go to music events where people are singing, talent shows, contests. There's maybe a free entertainment at some sort of nonprofit event. If you want to write your book, then you look online for courses that are being offered. Or because these days you have a whole lot of people out here teaching how to write a book. You just got to get on the internet and find those folks that fit within your price range. Excuse me. And then the next thing you can do, you need to write out an action plan. I wanted to say plan, but then I changed it and put action plan, because there's a difference between a plan and an action plan. An action plan is a plan that has action steps that you're going to take in order to make the plan become a reality and not just something you have on paper. So when you write out your action plan, you're going to write out, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to do it. The first thing I'm going to do is once a week I'm going to record myself doing a cover, and I'm going to upload that video to my YouTube page. And then once you begin to do that, okay, wow, you can scratch that off. I achieved the goal, and I wrote it out, and I had an action plan on how I was going to get it done. Another thing that you can do is begin to join organizations that are doing what it is you dream of doing. You can join and participate, or even go and volunteer. Volunteer at a radio station, volunteer at a recording studio. And then while you're there volunteering, you will pick up connections and experience on maybe how to work the switchboard and how to work the mics and how to arrange your songs. Whatever it is, you've got to begin to figure out a way to make it happen. Another thing, if you're a young person and you're living at home with your parents, this is the time for you to be saving towards fulfilling your dream or whatever it is you want to accomplish, because you will never get these days back in your life. And if you're living with your parents, that's a blessing that you can live there, especially if you're living there for free. Excuse me. Because it takes money to fund a dream. And if you're living at home with your parents and you don't have a whole lot of financial responsibility to contribute toward that household, save your money, because I'm going to tell you, you're going to at some point have to invest in your dream. You're going to have to spend your own money to get certain things done with regard to your dream. So don't just go out here spending your money on clothes all the time and all these other things that society tell you that you have to have. Save. If you want to be wealthy, now is the time for you to save. And when the time comes for you to move out of your parents' house, you will have saved a substantial amount of money to fund your dream, or either just to ensure that you leave your parents' home financially sound, and that way you don't have to go out and get yourself in debt and all that because you've been saving and working your dream. I don't know if any of you heard the song "What Are You Waiting For" by Sean McDonald, but in that song, he asks the question, what are you waiting for? It's a beautiful song. It's very inspiring and motivational, and it speaks to those who have something that they desire to accomplish, and it just seems like that thing is just so far away and you can't fulfill it, but you can, And in the song, he's telling you you're standing at an open door. And when you look around in the society today, we all are standing in front of an open door of opportunity. A few weeks ago, I was on a flight to Detroit, and while I was up in the air and looking down below, all I could feel was such a huge amount of opportunity down below on the ground. And if you're not careful, you can be so caught up into your problems until you can't even see that you're standing at an open door. And the door is open wide. You've just got to figure out what it is you want to do and just step across to the other side. This is your life. You'll never live twice. You got to step through to the other side because there is so much more. What are you waiting for? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to believe in something unexplained. Because sometimes we may not always have the resources or the knowledge and how we're going to fulfill whatever it is we're trying to fulfill or accomplish. But I can guarantee you this, if you would just get started with what you have and use with what you have, in many cases it's a little bit that we have, but if you would just use that, God will begin to bless you as you go. All he needs is to see that you're trying and that you're going to use and maximize what he's already given you. The way to increase is to use what you have, and as you go, you will begin to see multiplication and addition added to your life. So I encourage you to go ahead and say goodbye to waiting. Tell yourself, look, I'm not waiting anymore. I've got to get busy. I've got to get started because I've got to get over to the other side. And tell yourself, I'm starting tonight. When you get off this call, go to your room, write out your action plan. Then identify what it is you're waiting on. Identify what's hindering you. Identify what it is you desire to do, and put some deadlines and some action steps to that. And I guarantee you, you will be amazed at the doors and the connections that will begin to open to you just simply because you decided not to wait anymore. You decided to start moving forward and taking steps and making action steps toward fulfilling your plan. And you'll look back and be so grateful at the decision to not wait any longer. If you don't get started, you'll always be where you are. And who wants to be in the same place year in and year out? There's so much inside each of us, and if we don't begin to utilize it, we'll never see all that potential, untapped potential that's within us. A lot of people are tired and just yearning inside, and there's a longing inside. You know what that is? It's that inner desire to be more and to fulfill the purpose of being here on this planet. Do not wait any longer. Waiting sucks. I'm just going to tell you. And most of you already know that it sucks because, you're tired of being in the same place, being in the same space, the same position, year in, year out, month to month. It's time to do something, and you can. Get busy. All this internet and computers, begin to get busy, speak it, live it, begin to build your tribe, create your Twitter page, your Instagram, your Facebook page, and begin to build a tribe. And little by little, begin to share your body of work with others. And once you build up a tribe, then that tribe will love your work and begin to share it. And then that's how you get your name out there, your work out there of what you've been doing. And then you begin to catch the attention of someone. And next thing you know, you're being called to come on a talk show, or you're being called to be interviewed about your body of work that somebody that saw. I'm telling you, folks that's already in the business, they go through these YouTube pages looking for a talent. And if you have it, share it, because what you don't use, you will lose. And I definitely don't want that to happen to you. Well, guys, that's my time. This has been a Teachable Life moment with Keila Bryson, where it is absolutely imperative that you live live. Now, if you would like to connect with me, you may do so. I'm on Facebook at Keila Bryson, Teachable Life Moments, LLC. I'm on Twitter at Keila Savant, or you can visit my website at KeilaBryson.com. If you would like to inbox me, you can do so at KeilaBryson.com. All right, guys, I'm looking forward to meeting with you next week, and I thank you for being here on tonight. Have a wonderful, profitable, and productive week. Good night.